Hello everybody and welcome to episode 46 of the Together We Grow podcast. My name is Paul.
And I'm Tamar.
And this is the Home Fragrance Academy. And this is where we teach home fragrance business owners how to start, grow and scale their businesses based on all of our experience of doing the same thing with our business called Cosy Aromas, which is one of the fastest growing companies in the UK. And then we sold it in 2024.
Yep, so we've collected all of our knowledge over the years, all of the issues we've had, all of the things that we've faced over the years to hopefully give you all of the advice that we wish we had at the start.
Yeah, and this week we are going to talk about, is it too late to start a home fragrance brand? Because that's something we're seeing a lot of comments about, and we're wondering if basically people have missed the boat on whether or not it's a good time to start a home fragrance brand. So we're gonna unpack that in this episode.
I think that's a great episode to have.
Let's dive in. So yeah, when we're talking to home fragrance business owners, we quite often hear people talk about, is it too late to start a home fragrance brand? Have they missed the boat on when it was successful? It was only successful during COVID and things like that, haven't we?
Yeah, we hear that a lot, and a lot of people say it's just too saturated of a market to bother getting into, which is a bit sad to hear, really, isn't it, that people feel that way?
It is a bit sad to hear. So that sort of moves us on to our first point, really. Is the market too saturated? And well, the truth is there are thousands and thousands of home fragrance brands out there. People popping up, making the products from home in their kitchen, selling on Etsy, selling markets and things like that, aren't there?
There are, yeah. But I don't think it's too saturated to be able to get into the market now, though. That's the thing. Everybody, or a lot of people we speak to, just assume that because they see all of these adverts and all of these other people doing it, that there's no space for them, don't they?
They do, yeah. And what we find is the vast majority, like 95% probably. I mean, that's a figure just off the top of my head, but
just plucked out.
Yeah, a big percentage of these people, they are all doing the exact same thing as everybody else. So they'll buy like some fragrance oils from Candle Shack, supplies for candles. They'll make snap bars. They'll put them into glassine bags with a bit of glitter on them and put £1.50 price tag on them, baby powder and cherry and whatever else, and all of the Lenore Unstoppables and all that kind of stuff, aren't they?
And they look interchangeable, don't they? You can't tell one brand from the other when you're just scrolling quite often, can you?
Yeah, and this is no fault of their own as such. They want to do something. They know how to make these products. They can make them really well. But when it comes to branding and actually building a company that people want to buy from, that's the bit that they don't quite grasp because they haven't gone through that before, So it's no surprise, really, is it?
No, not at all. Usually the people that make these products are great at the products and the products are fantastic. But it's the marketing side of things and the branding, like you say, that needs the work and the help. And
the brands that we're seeing winning in this space are the brands that are being different. Mm-hmm. So, if you're early in your home fragrance journey, you've set up a business and you're listening to this and sales aren't really where you want them to be, have a real good look at your brands and your products. Are you basically just selling the same stuff as every other home fragrance brand out there? If so, then you really kind of need to take a step back and think about how you can be different. And it's not necessarily just being different with your products, although that is quite important because people need a reason to buy from you. But it's also your brand itself and your messaging, how you portray yourself online and what you do, because people buy into a brand.
Yeah, they definitely do. And you want them to be able to see anything you put out online anywhere and immediately associate it with you and your brand straight away.
Yeah, and it took us years at Cosy Aromas to be able to do that. But yeah, whenever you saw a product of ours online, there was no mistaking that it was us because we made it incredibly unique to ourselves.
Yeah, and that helped us to stand out, obviously, and for everybody to know that everything was ours.
Yeah. So yes, the market is incredibly saturated, but it's saturated with everyone doing the same thing. You have this massive group of people that are all just competing against each other on price and trying to get the odd sale here and doing these, like, I don't know, selling on Etsy, selling at market stalls, which are really good, but then doing these open box things on your website where you can customers can just add loads of things to their order each month and save on posts. All of that kind of stuff is just a bit, you're not going to scale up when it comes to doing that.
That's low level.
It is. And if you're wanting to build a business here, and this is what we're trying to teach people at Home Fragrance Academy, how we help and nurture people, then you need to stop thinking really small like that and actually try to build something a bit bigger. That's what a lot of our students want to do. That's why they come to us.
Yeah.
And that's the knowledge that we share, isn't it, on how to do those things.
So essentially the market is saturated, but there is still plenty of space for you to get into the market if you put yourself out there differently to everybody else.
Yeah. So what has changed since we started our business? Because, see, this is weird because we sold Cosy Aromas 2 years ago, but Cosy Aromas is only 8 years old.
Yeah.
So we had it for 6 years, and that shows you the growth that we had and the things that we did right and all of that, you know.
In a relatively short space of time, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It was in a short space of time, and it was growth on growth, wasn't it?
It was.
And since then, obviously, it's completely died off and has dwindled away and is no longer anywhere near what it once was, which is a real shame to see. But, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? It's an opportunity for you guys out there and all of our students to
take over that top spot.
Exactly. So what's changed since we started then? So basically social media, the reach is much harder than what it was because it's very competitive, isn't it?
It is very competitive. You need to be creating reels and content that people want to see, don't you?
Yeah. Back in the day, we could create content that was all about encouraging people to come and buy from us. Look at this wonderful wax melt. It smells amazing. Look at these reviews. Click here to buy it. And yeah, it generally works. These days, you can't do that. You can't sell on social media on organic content because people do not want to be sold to. What it's all about is actually getting attention.
Yeah. People don't want to see something on their feed that looks like an advert, do they? Nothing super polished and perfect looking and that looks like you're trying to sell to them. They just won't engage. They're not interested.
Yeah, the content that's working now that we do for ourselves, personally on our Cypress channels as well, and what our students are doing is just documenting what they do.
Yep.
Documenting what they get up to, no sales at all. Treat social media not as a sales platform, but as a platform to get attention and create organic reels, certainly for Facebook, because they are popping at the moment.
They are, yeah.
And then what you do is you retarget that audience with your no-brainer offer via ads.
Yep.
I mean, social media, the reach has changed, but if you're going to sit there and just dwell on it and not change yourself to adapt, then yeah, you'll just dwindle away and
you won't make any sales or do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you just got to go with
move with the times.
Move with the times. That's exactly what you've got to do, and that's what we do. Even though we're out of that space at the moment, we are ourselves. We're still very much in the space because we're working with home fragrance business owners all the time. We're helping them with their ads and their emails and their websites and things like that. So we know where things are heading at the moment. And yeah, there's no denying that ads are more expensive these days.
Yeah, without a doubt. I remember there being a time when we could turn an advert on and off as and when we needed to because we had too many orders coming in.
Yeah.
And then it would just kick straight back up from where it was.
Yeah.
And now doing that would be a really bad idea and you would spend an absolute fortune, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would, yeah. And adverts, back when we had it, you could just create an advert to a cold audience that had never heard of you before, advertising a no-brainer offer, and it worked. It still does work, but it's more expensive now. So that's why creating these reels on Facebook and Instagram, specifically Facebook, which are free, just documenting what you do, get that attention, get those views up, and then creating ads to retarget the people that have viewed your content.
Yeah.
That is much less expensive. And high converting because you're advertising to people that have already seen and engaged with your brand.
Yeah.
And because you're retargeting instead of advertising cold, it's cheaper.
Yeah. It's a bit easier as well, isn't it? Because they already roughly know what the products are as well and what you do.
Yeah. But also, since we started, the tools available to everyone have significantly improved.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what business would be like if we had ChatGPT when we started?
That would have been incredible.
I mean, yeah, we didn't have that. You guys have that now.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT is, if used properly, is fantastic for business evaluations, helping you strategize, helping you come up with content as well, as long as you train it properly.
Yeah.
Because you can spot ChatGPT wording a mile away.
You can, yeah. But if you train it properly, and you can even get away for a very long time using just a free account.
Yeah.
Because I still use a free account myself.
Yeah, you do. And basically, because of all these things, the barrier to entry is actually a lot lower than what it was. Because you have these tools, you have us. You know, there wasn't a home fragrance academy when we first started. Imagine starting a business today and you've got ChatGPT to answer any question you have, and you've got the knowledge and experience of people that have built a multi-million pound business in this space and who are here to give you all of their knowledge and strategies.
Yeah. That would have been absolutely incredible if we had that available when we first started.
So, imagine that. I would love to have had that.
Yeah.
But we didn't, and you guys do have, so there you go. It's the barrier to entry is much lower, and you have a much better chance of succeeding now because you have knowledge of people there to who's done it to help you.
And to be honest, that's really why we started Home Fragrance Academy, wasn't it? Because we wanted everybody else to be able to have the opportunities that we wanted to have, that we wanted to have that advice and that support from somebody that had been there, but it just wasn't there, it wasn't available.
No, it wasn't, was it? So what makes the difference these days then? What can you do then to really stand out and start to really grow the business? Okay, so it's really not about being the first ones. We certainly weren't the first ones. There was obviously, of course not. We only started in 2018. There was home fragrance has been going for bloody decades, isn't it?
Donkey's years.
But what helped us was we were ruthless with our marketing and our brand building and our community building around our brand, weren't we?
Yep, that's what made us stand out, especially at the time, compared to everybody else. Building a community wasn't something that people in the home fragrance industry did. It was almost like pioneer thing, wasn't it, that we started doing that. I'm not saying we're the only ones that did that, of course, but we were one of the first ones to do that, and it's what helped our business to succeed so quickly, I think.
I think so, yeah. And yeah, you want to have something unique, and you need to build a brand that people can get behind. And to give you a couple of examples, and really what, if you're listening to this, chances are you want to build a brand. I'm not saying you want to build something where you're going to be in warehouses with tens of staff or anything like that, but you want to build something that will give you a good living, be profitable, and is something that you can manage quite straightforward, yeah? Yeah,
to be honest, people want to get into business to make money, don't they, and make their life better.
Of course. So think a little differently. And if I was you, I wouldn't, when it comes to naming let's talk about the brand, yeah? And the brand is not just what it looks like, and so in terms of your logo and name and stuff like this, it's also how it makes people feel and how you engage with people online. So let's quickly talk about that. Firstly, I would avoid naming your company like Melanie's Sparkles or Melts with Minnie or something like that. Don't put your name in there. Don't call it Melts or Sparkles and stuff like that. Give it a proper grown-up name. Yeah, a name that can scale up with you, because we were called Cozy Candles originally. Turns out we never actually made candles. So we
barely did.
Barely did. We were at Waxkind. So over time we called it Cosy Aromas because it's a bit more scalable.
Yeah, it's a bit broader, but also has that nice, comfortable feeling too.
Yeah, and then obviously you just have a logo. Logo is just a mark, but try and get a professional one designed, and think about social media as well. So think about what it would look like at a small scale. So you want an icon and things like that. But then also it's how you engage with people online. Build a community, encourage people to join that community via your social media, via emails, all that kind of stuff. And then just engage with people, make people feel really welcome, make them feel part of the brand, as in
listen to and encourage to have their say on what they would like to have available and what they want in their home and what they want to use. And obviously you're not always going to be able to launch everything that everybody wants, of course, but if you explain that to people and you're open and honest about that we can definitely create this product, but we can't do this, not necessarily go into the whys, but we're not able to do this at the moment, maybe in the future. But that makes them feel listened to and they want to continue engaging with you.
They will. Building a brand is not just a logo and then selling loads of stuff. It's a successful brand is how you make people feel. You want them to feel part of, in home fragrance this is specifically, you want them to feel listened to, you want them to feel part of a community, because they love that. We know this because we lived it for 6 years and we grew it, and we're helping other people do that now as well.
And how many times did we get comments and posts and messages and emails from people saying, thank you so much because I found such an incredible community and lifelong friends that they've made and support network. That we had customers that were housebound, didn't we? Yeah. That never went out of the house because of illness. And they've now suddenly got this like 10,000 people community that they can chat to all day long.
Do you remember we had people, customers in our group that only met each other through our group, that did a meetup?
Yes, they did.
Didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
And
they're lifelong friends and they've got a support network that they never would have had otherwise.
So if you can crack that, then you will only do well, unless you on purpose, it feels like on purposely mess it up, you know? And the other thing, of course, is having a system in place, a system behind all of this to actually generate those sales and generate those consistent sales on a regular basis, you know, and be profitable. So your pricing's got to be right, your marketing's got to be right, your email capture, your offers, your retargeting ads, your retention engine, all of that has got to be in place. That's a whole thing on its own. And that's part of our consistent sales system course. That's what we teach. So it's a course that we have called the Consistent Sales System.
So it sounds like there's a lot of things there that could be really complicated, but in the course it's completely broken down into 7 individual videos that are easy to follow and action from. So you'll be able to understand every single video quite easily and to follow each point.
Yeah, and there's a link below if you're watching on YouTube. There's a link below to view that. If you're listening to this podcast, go to our website, which is homefragrance.academy, and then you'll see a link on there to the Consistent Sales System. Worth taking a look because it's everything that was in our brains on how we grew Cosy Aromas and how we built those sales consistently, daily sales that came in all the time without us having to think about it, all into one course. And yeah, most of the brands that we see, that we try and help, that we give advice to, they struggle because of everything that we've said in this podcast so far. They struggle because they just blend in with everyone else. They are not memorable. They sell the same stuff in the same shape, the same colours, same packaging. They've got basically the same logo, a very similar name. They post on social media once every 2 months. They send sales emails once every 4 months.
Yeah.
They attend a market event but don't capture email addresses. They have no wholesale outreach, and they absolutely don't have any system in place that they've set up to help them build these sales. So they are the people that struggle.
It's very much like a hobby, but a very expensive hobby at that point, isn't it?
Yeah. They'll sell via DM to their friends and family, and that's it really. And if that's where you want to be, then that's absolutely fine. It's all about building the sort of business that you want, isn't it? It's not about forcing you to build something that becomes unmanageable. It's about building the one you want. And if you're listening to this, I imagine you want to build that business we described earlier, which gives you a good living, good income, and supports your family.
Yeah, and that's typically why you get into businesses, because you want to create your money and to support your family and create a life that gives you a bit of freedom as well, don't you?
And to do that, you need these things in place. It's as simple as that, really, isn't it? So what opportunities are there out there at the moment for you as a new home fragrance brand, whether you've started, whether you are thinking about starting, or whether you're a few years into it? What's the opportunity? Well, just before this podcast, I did a little research, and the actual home fragrance market in the UK is currently worth £830 million per year.
Wow.
That's how much money people in the UK spend on home fragrance products. And it's growing 9% every year as well. So it's only going up.
So there's plenty of people out there to buy your products. You don't have to worry about that. There's plenty of people that are willing to and able to buy. So
it's a growing, yes, there's more and more people joining it. But if you can outmarket them, if you can build a better brand than them, which I promise you is not hard.
No.
Then you can have a slice of that pie as well. And customers in home fragrance are very loyal.
Yep.
If I keep harking back to it, don't I? But if you've built that brand that people want, that people want to engage with, and you've got this like community-centric vibe going on, customers are loyal. If they love your brand and love your products, they will come back and buy from you time and time again. Yeah, because to be honest, you make a wax melt, and
Jane down the road makes a wax melt, exactly the same product. But if you've built that community and you've got that loyalty around you, Jane down the road hasn't. She just sells them for £1.50 and someone's got to come and collect them from her door. You're going to have that loyalty. They're going to keep coming back to you because you've built that community and you make them feel welcome and supported.
And these are low ticket items. These are things that cost not a lot. You know, yes, you can get wax melts for £1, £1.50. We used to sell them for £5.99. Okay, we didn't compete on price with other brands around us. That was our price, and you know, when you buy into us, you then have this community and all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to compete on price either. So just bear that in mind. Build that brand that people love, because most brands still don't market themselves properly, and they won't either. We sort of help people push through that, and we show them what to do and how it works and all this kind of stuff. But some people just don't want to do it, you know, and they want to just live the life they're living, which is absolutely fine. So that's the opportunity for you there, is out market these people, out advertise them, and you'll very quickly start rising and rising and rising in the rank of home fragrance brands.
If you're doing the things that other people don't want to do or can't be bothered to do, because some people are like that, aren't they? They're like, oh, I'll do it later and put it off, then you're only going to succeed and do better than them.
Yeah. So that's your opportunity right there. The market is growing. The brands that are starting, the companies that are starting are all competing amongst themselves in this pool of people that are charging £1.50 and all look the same and smell the same and all of that kind of stuff.
Interchangeable.
Your opportunity is right there to outmarket, create a better brand, create something a bit more unique and rise above all of that and sit there in your own level. That's what we did. That's what we did with Cosy Aromas. That's what we did with Craft HQ, which is a slightly different because that was our fragrance oil brand. But it's also what we did with Waxkind, which is another home fragrance brand we started. All three of those we started. All three of those grew significantly.
In a short space of time.
And very well. And all of them had different angles that we were targeting, different brands, different audiences and different angles. And they all did very well.
They did. All in their own spaces.
So if we were to create a home fragrance brand today, this is what we would do. Yeah. Firstly, we'd find a niche.
Yeah. Something as super niche as you can get, really. So that you've got a target audience and you're not competing with every person that makes wax melts.
So as an example, I've given these examples before in the past, you know, you can target people, you can create a brand, a home fragrance brand for people who love Harry Potter. You can create a home fragrance brand for people who love traveling. And then you can create products specifically for that. A wax melt that smells like Rome, a wax melt that smells like Paris or something like that.
Traveling one would be fantastic.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And then the audience you're talking to are people that love those specific cities and locations. Us, for example, we now live in Cyprus, so we might create a home fragrance brand which are targeting people that love Cyprus. And we would advertise in the UK because millions of people go from the UK to Cyprus every single year.
Yep.
And how many home fragrance brands have you seen scrolling through? If you're listening to this now and you like Cyprus, you've been there before, you love it, you might be a regular visitor. How many home fragrance brands have you scrolled past on Instagram that says, do you love Cyprus? This is the smell of Paphos in the evening, you know? That was a crap example, but you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't.
You don't.
So create a home fragrance brand for that. And you've got a huge market.
Actually, even here, you don't see that. No. We've seen a few of them, and they all do exactly the same as everybody else back in the UK.
Exactly. And so that's what I mean. Because, yes, you might be thinking, oh, that's too small of a niche, but millions of people visit Cyprus every single year. How many customers do you need to have a wonderful life and a wonderful business?
Exactly.
Knowing that they're going to come back and buy from you anyway, because you've built that brand that people want to come back to.
And think about trying to have your niche around something that you like and something that you're passionate about and that you really enjoy, because it makes it easier for you to talk about it and to market it, because your passion will come across.
Yeah, it really does. And then what we would do is we'd have a few simple products. For us, it would be wax melts, because we know that inside out.
Yep, and I'll probably make them in my sleep.
Yeah, we know wax melts would have 5 to 10 fragrances. That's it. Really, really simple.
Yep, simple, basic, and don't overcomplicate it.
Don't introduce all these other products that people don't care about yet because they don't even know about your business. Introduce them slowly once you've started to build up an audience. A few simple products, keep costs down, and then I would dominate the marketing. So the cypress content at the moment is really kicking off, and just using that as an example, or whatever niche you're in, create content around that which targets people that likes that kind of, that whatever niche that is. It could be people that love dogs, that want dog-friendly wax melts, people that love visiting Cyprus, people that love Harry Potter. Create content all around that that ties into your brand, retarget them on Facebook with a no-brainer offer to come and buy your stuff. Job done. And just scale that up. Honestly, people overcomplicate this. It's not complicated. No. You just need to have a really good system in place and a really good niche and brand to begin with.
Yep. And make sure that when you're working out your niche, you do a little bit of research on it as well, and make sure that you're not, like you mentioned Harry Potter, didn't you? So that's a trademark that's owned by Disney, for example. Make sure that you check that it's not like a trademark thing such as that. But other than that, just go for it.
Absolutely. Now, as I said earlier, we've got the Consistent Sales System course. There's a link below to check that out. That will help you. We've also got a free scorecard that you can take. There's a link below, or if you're listening on a podcast, then go to our website, homefragrance.academy, and you'll see a link to the scorecard. It's completely free. It will take you less than 60 seconds to complete, and basically it'll ask you a few questions, and at the end, it will give you a score, an overall score of how your business is currently operated, and it will pinpoint some areas where you need to focus your time and energy, and also give you some tips on what you can do to improve those areas as well. Very well worth taking. So head over to our website and do that.
So I think that's the end of episode 46.
Absolutely right, it is.
Wow, I can't believe we're at episode 46.
I hope that was useful to you guys, and a bit more motivational as well, because we know that some people really get into a bit of a slump when it comes to thinking about this.
Yeah, it's easy to get into a bit of a rut and to continue doing the same thing, but we're here to obviously help you and support you to be able to build that business that you really want.
Thank you for listening and watching and all of that. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below, tell us where you are in your business. We'd love to hear from you.
We definitely would, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review as well.
Thank you very much for listening and watching, and we'll speak to you in next week's episode.
See you soon, guys.